Warning, warriors, more distressing content coming your way. I would be remiss if I did not weigh in on what is going on with ex Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries, business associates, two of them actually, arrested in sex trafficking probe breaking on this Tuesday. Let's talk about this a little bit. I remember the days in the 90s when Abercrombie and Fitch, do you remember that? Was the cool spot, especially in the malls across America. And you could always smell, right? When you walked by, it had that certain smell from their perfumes and things like that. And there was a recent, I watched with my husband, a recent documentary, maybe I watched it a few months ago, all about how this Mike Jeffries came in and really revitalized the brand because Abercrombie and Fitch was kind of a, for lack of a better word, kind of a fuddy-duddy, old-time brand that none of the kids or young people were really going to go for. And he came in and he energized it. He made it cool. It was about the beautiful people. The documentary that we watched did also point out, though, he did have to step down because he was accused of not putting certain people of color out in the front on the sales floor. He wanted to keep them in the stock rooms, or at least this is what was alleged at the time. And also, he was very much into, do you remember the catalogs? We had catalogs. And just shirts off and short skirts and just, good, clean American fun. But considered the beautiful people. So let's get into some of these details because I have a lot of questions, don't you? First of all, I'm hearing nothing about, now remember, we at the Warriors always come from the point of believing the victims, believing that survivor. That being said, I can't really, until we get a little bit more information, I want to know more about this because I did watch the news conference right here out of Brooklyn, New York, with this case breaking and what the courts were saying. And so I want to get into that a little bit. But he was arrested, Mike Jeffries, as part of a sex trafficking operation in West Palm Beach, Florida. He is 80 years old. His antics allegedly led to more than 100 men being abused. Now, his romantic partner, his boyfriend, 61 years old, Matthew Smith, referred to as a business associate, and also James Jacobson, 71, are also allegedly we're being told that they were complicit in this as middlemen, as he was using his position, Mike Jeffries, to reel in really all of these young guys. And it was basically they're accusing him of having a sex trafficking operation. Sorry, everybody, I got allergies today like crazy in New York City. I don't know what's going on here, but I got the allergies. I digress, but let's get back to this. So his two business associates, his romantic partner, was arrested and also this middleman who was accused of going around the world and in the audition process, having sex, demanding sex, whatever you want to call it, from these young, naive, vulnerable wannabes. Remember, this is another case that tells us, be very careful about show business. That includes music, as we're seeing with the Diddy case. That includes modeling, as we're seeing right here with the Abercrombie case. And that involves, Broadway. That involves Hollywood, as I put in quotations, because we at the Warriors believe the Hollywood, we use that for shorthand, is over, that we used to refer to. And the predation of vulnerable people. So many people want to be in show business. They will sell their souls. They will do anything. In this particular suit, I see nothing about children, minors, so that's good news. It is referred to as 100 men, and they're calling this a prostitution case. Federal prosecutors, this is what I watched in Brooklyn, held this news conference not too long ago. And he is accused of holding elaborate sex events to explicitly exploit and sexually abuse young male models during his 22-year tenure at Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, he was let go. But you know what? I have questions. So hear me out about this one. First of all, they're not children. They're adults. They're 18 plus. I am in no way endorsing this bad alleged behavior or anything to do with this. I'm just saying they were adults. So they traveled there to these sex parties around the world of their own free will. Now, the part that's sticking with me is I could almost say, and they're saying this is a sex trafficking prostitution case. Number one, they're adults. Number two, if the audition process as named in this suit involved the middleman who auditioned these young men by having sex with them, they already knew what was going on, right? So if this guy said, I'm trying to break it down because we're a family show, oh, you passed the test. Now I'm going to fly you to New York. Or I'm going to fly you to Miami. I'm going to fly you to West Palm, wherever, Mike was the CEO. They already knew what they were getting involved in, I think, because they already did this selling of their souls. So I want to see how this plays out because there's so many, 12 in particular, 100 men have been abused, and the fashion brand. Now, this is what's interesting. This is where I have questions. So this is going on for years. And supposedly he employed a secret staff. I wonder if that staff was on the dime of Abercrombie and Fitch. We don't know that yet. I didn't hear anything about that. To be security, to book the air flights from guys around the world, to take care of hotel, limo, all of those kind of organizational skills. He employed a secret staff. So I'm curious, again, if Abercrombie, that came out of the budget somehow. Apparently, and the documentary a few months back pointed this out, he had free reign because he was doing so well for this brand of clothing, so well with young people. It was like the go-to. Kids all across America had to have these brands because it's infectious. They see the catalogs, when we had catalogs, the posters in the windows. The stores were always kind of dark and murky and sexy. And people live vicariously through those kind of images or environment. So he went unchecked, is the story. So unchecked that all this was occurring, and they in no way endorsed this. But they didn't check on him. Where were the checks and balances? I don't care who you are, how much money you're making for a company. People have to be checked on. That's why this guy allegedly and his two associates got away with all of this, if it indeed proves to be true. But they would go to the Hamptons. They would go, to Palm Beach. That he had modeling scouts scouring the internet for prey, and that some prospective models vying to become the next face of Abercrombie ended up sex trafficking victims. So I just want to weigh in that although he left Mike Jeffries in 2014, so that's like 10 years ago, now we're hearing about all this. Why? Why does it take so long? Why? Is Abercrombie and Fitch responsible? Will they have to pay out monies? Will they have to go bankrupt because this will be a sex trafficking / prostitution case? And they also are saying, the lawyers for Mike Jeffries, that they'll just address everything in court. Obviously, they deny everything. Abercrombie and Fitch obviously says, we are disgusted and appalled at all of this. And they've hired an outside law firm to conduct a review. But I ask you, warriors, where was the review going on prior to his ending his career at Abercrombie and Fitch in 2014, already 10 years ago? Because remember, somebody somewhere always knows a little something, or there's a little gossip. Let this be a warning. Let's see how it plays out, because I'm really not understanding how you can call this a sex trafficking case just yet. Is Abercrombie and Fitch responsible? And I'm not a lawyer, but I think like one. Are they responsible? Knowingly allowing, if he had free reign of budgets? Now, we don't know that yet, but I heard he had free reign. Just because he was so successful with the brand, were some of those monies from the company and he was able to operate and have this so-called secret staff? How about these multiple homes he had? Let's hear about that. Did the company pay for that, Abercrombie and Fitch? Let's get those details. Thank goodness we're not hearing about any minors involved in all of this. Yes, there were young people. I'm sure there were 18, 19, 20-year-olds, young guys, because if you looked at the Abercrombie, posters, it was kids going to college, kind of the freshman college look, on the beach look. Do some homework. Look up some of those vintage photos for Abercrombie and Fitch. I remember thinking at the time, years ago, at least 20 plus years ago, because it was all the rage for kids in the malls, as I said, this kind of sexy for kids, right? But then I didn't really think twice about it. Maybe we should have. I want everybody also to know, let's put out, kind of as much as we can I don't want sex trafficking, the whole slavery, human trafficking. Remember, human trafficking, we have more human trafficking today in America than any other time in history. It's called slavery. Slavery. Let's try to stick with facts, not fears. Let's not, have a lot of conjecture. We do have to talk about it, because the more we talk about it, the more we raise awareness, the more we can educate others, the more we can educate our kids, because this is the world we live in. So we've got Diddy, that tremendous case. Now on the heels of that, we have this case, and let's see how these play out. But I'm interested, because the part that is sticking here that's similar to the Diddy case is that at these sex parties, get-togethers, gatherings, whatever they're calling these things, they would have security that would not allow one of these younger men to leave, right? So that's false imprisonment, kidnapping in my book. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Also, different drugs. And I watched the press conference, and they named the different drugs were used, and forcing some of these drugs. Again, we're a family show, so I don't want to go into too many details. I think you're following what I'm saying, though. They forced some of these drugs on these young men to have them last longer. I'll leave it at that. Where was the medical? We didn't hear this at all in the complaint today. They must have had doctors or healthcare on call, not only to administer these type of things. What if somebody people get sick, people pass out? How did they recover from that? Were they brought anywhere? Did they have this in-house doctor? So now, again, our children are watching. Election season, which is off the rails, coming up, right? 2 weeks, and all that goes with that. They are watching the borders and hearing all the talk about that, and hearing talk of over 500,000 unaccompanied minors filtered somehow, somewhere into the United States. Our kids are inundated every day with the internet and things coming at them left and right. They are inundated with the Diddy stories, because that's one you couldn't escape and can't escape. That's only getting started, in our Warriors' opinion, with all. Now on top of it, we've got the Abercrombie. I feel bad for our kids. You couldn't write this stuff in a Hollywood screenplay. So I'm suggesting, age appropriate, honestly and openly talk to your children about what's going on. It can be very simple. Bad people in the world. Know who your friends are online. Keep them close. Don't let strangers in. Do not. I'll leave you with, check out, I did a video on Roblox. Please check that out, because every parent I talk to and kid tells me they're on Roblox, which is an app of building games. It's one of the top apps. And as a matter of fact, there was a story announced today in the New York Post that a woman was directing a 10-year-old, because there's really no age verification on Roblox, and that's why it's in our Warriors dumpster. That's why I want you to watch the video, that this adult woman was directing this 10-year-old child on Roblox on how to kill his sibling, and did indeed do something, and the child is very harmed. I'm skirting, I know, around algorithms, but it's so important for me. You get this information, you research it, you know what's going on. This is what's happening. Our hashtag is community creates change. We are trying that 24/7, 365. Know the issues. Follow us, lynswarriors.org. Listen up for our live chats, which we do a couple of times a week. I want all of you to join in. I like to go through, you can ask some questions and we'll try to answer them. There are a lot of resources. You have to know where to look. Support survivors. Do it. Do it. We have to do it. I have to do it. My team has to do it. We're doing it for you. We want to keep our kids safe, because I think we all know there is a war on for our children. Remember, always you can become a member of Lynn's Warriors. You will get videos first. And also, I need all of you to subscribe. I should say that in the beginning. You know what? I'll say it at the end. Algorithms matter. Numbers build up. We will get in the rotations, and we're doing very nicely, but there's always room to do better. So let's take this story, Mike Jeffries, Abercrombie Fitch. Let's not go wild with it. Let's wait for more facts to come out, see where this goes. The man is 80 years old. Remember Peter Nygaard? He's another one. He's like 85 now. He's in prison with his fashion brand. Now we got this guy out of Abercrombie for 10 years. Now they're arresting him in West Palm and his, as they call him, his romantic partner. Isn't that boyfriend? I guess. And also their business associate who would scope out, as well as they're talking about other people that were scouring the world, which they're calling the sex trafficking / prostitution ring. Let's come together. Let's reclaim. Let's keep our kids safe. We can do it. We're tough. Because we are warriors. Each and every day when you wake up, remember, go out and be a warrior.